You can't freaking do that. Yeah, you can. Alright, so you're here at Steve Morris Engines. We are on the Hub Dyno today. Big block Chevrolet, Chevelle. The 70? 70 Chevelle. And this is Chris Fools. I'm gonna let him tell you about the combination here in a minute while we're working on this. So they've already got everything running. We didn't build the engine or do the base tune on it, so they just brought it into us to fine tune it, make it a little bit better. So let me have you tell stuff about the car.
The big block, multi block, about 590 cubic inch, got twin 78s on it, cam sync, coils like an LS. That's about it. Fuel injected. Hoping she runs good today.
What do you plan to do with it?
Beat up on electric cars.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
I just like to drive it.
Perfect.
You know, more than anything.
So what I'm doing is just updating the software first. So just to get current version with current version. And then we're going to run it exactly the way it is, the way it came in the door, and then we'll start working on tune from there. All right, so this is, I got firmware and software updated, so we're just gonna make a pull exactly the way it just came in. All right, so that was pretty, didn't want to accelerate, so we'll have to look at that, but we're just gonna look at data here, see what it did, because it wasn't RPM. All right, oh, so it did go up to 5,000 RPM, but it was like dead right there. It didn't even want to accelerate past that, just stayed there. So I'll take a look and see if I can find something going on. I was making 13 pounds of boost there, it says. We have a question about the map sensor because we can't figure out what map sensor it is. I don't know, I can't find the number either, so.
What's up, guys? You're here at Steve Morris Engines. I'm Kyle Morris, and this is a 430 cubic inch big block Chevy. Now you might be asking yourself, Kyle, why is this a 430 cubic inch big block Chevy? I thought everything that's big block Chevy in the world is like 525 plus cubic inches. Well, not this, because this is a stock block, stock crank, low compression, pump gas, twin turbo boat motor. So this has got a Dart Pro 1 325cc head on it. Kind of small heads. They're not CNC ported or anything like that. They're just the as cast steel. So this engine is like very, very basic. Runs good, idles good, small cam, small turbos. This is going in a jet boat, so like I said before, 6,500 RPM in a jet boat is the ideal RPM. So anything below 6,500 RPM is kind of what we're chasing after right now. So overall power goals for this thing, the most that the customer wants to really see is like 1,000, which is perfectly fine. We can absolutely do that. Yeah, pump gas, non-intercooled, just a, I would say street cruiser, but it's in a boat, so a boat cruiser engine, I guess. What else is there? I mean, wet sump, super simple setup. You notice the turbos are on there kind of backwards. That's because it goes in a boat. Log style headers from Stainless Headers Manufacturing. They did this elbow as well. Charge pipes, waste feed tubes were done by me here. Just a nice compact little twin turbo kit to go in this guy's jet boat. So this thing should be pretty cool. I mean, we're gonna see where it's at. I don't think that I've ever dynoed an engine quite like this before. So something new and interesting. Small displacement, stock block, stock crank, big block Chevy. Very old school technology with a little new school twist. So EFI, obviously turbos. I think that the jet boat that this is coming out of would have came with the 427 big block factory, just a stock. So this will be a cool upgrade for him. I'm sure he's gonna enjoy the snot out of it, and we're gonna get to tuning. Okay, so we just made that pull. Keep in mind, this is a very small cubic inch big block Chevy. Like, this is on par with a lot of the LS stuff we're doing. It's only 430 cubic inches, so it's a 427 big block Chevy that is 30 over, so it's like a 430. So 430 cubic inches, low compression, pump gas. This is 8 pounds of boost right now. I've got no timing in it. All the fuel is still working out the tune. This is the very first full pull that I did on it. We're at 626, and on this particular engine, this is going in a jet boat, and the customer is 6,500 RPM max, non-intercooled, pump gas. So he only wants to be like in the 1,000 horsepower range, which I mean, that's well doable. I mean, I'll start getting after timing and the tune up a little bit more and start cleaning things up, and I'm sure we might not even have to put a boost controller on it. It'll just do it on the wastegate spring, but we'll see. What the heck, man? What is going on? So we're having issues with the O2, unfortunately. Really sure what it's all about, but I just did that whole pull with the closed loop completely off. But yeah, you can see here that O2 is just completely out of control. That's why I did that whole thing with the closed loop off. So we're gonna have to figure that out, unfortunately. Dang things. I thought this was gonna be an easy job.
Alright, so that is, you can see up there, that is the original tune. It made it up to 130 mile an hour, and it was just suffering up there. So now we'll take a look at tune. I can see the tune's off. We did put the boost reference regulator on it, which it did not have boost reference. And so now we're gonna start working on a tune and dump in a tune that I already made for it here. So I'm gonna dump that in, tune up a little bit of extra stuff, and we'll run this again. All right, so I mean, that's better, but it sounds like it's not hitting a rev limiter. So I'll go in there and check that out, see what's going on. I didn't check for rev limiter because it wouldn't get up to it before. So you can see here, I mean, outside of hitting a rev limiter, which looks like it got set really low, so it's made another, 175 horsepower. So we'll get in there and clean that up and figure out where we're at. I tell you, there's so many machines running right now, which is great, but it's so much noise. So it was it had a rev limiter set at 5,800. So obviously it came up at 5,800 and hit the rev limiter, and that's what you heard. So we'll turn that back up and look at the tune so far where we're at. But I mean, it picked up good. Everything's looking nice through there. His goal is to make 1,000 horsepower with the tire, which it should do. It's making decent boost. I'm making 12 psi of boost right there. And he's got air filters on it too. You can see that. Oil pressure, fuel pressure is fine. Everybody looks good there. All right, there we go. And now our timing, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I mean, it's just sitting there on the rev limiter, 5,800 RPM, just bop, 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 bop. So we'll fix that. I already did fix that. And then none of my compensations worked, but so it worked here in the beginning. Oh, it's all pretty minimal. 2, 3, 0, negative 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, negative 10, 11, 12, negative 12, 13, 14. Then it hit the rev limiter. So it gives me a trend of where it was at. So I can overlay this. So that's the third pull overall. That's why you see 3 data logs there. Second full pull. The first pull I didn't want to go do anything. So the second pull was still the same tune. I just took a bunch of load off the dyno so it would actually accelerate. And that's where we're at there. And now let's go in here, look at our fuel map. All right in this area, which is probably correct. Take some fuel out of it. Come in here, smooth this out. All right, that looks good. Fuel graph, that looks normal. Alrighty, so turn the rev limiter up. So we weren't hitting the rev limiter anymore. And now we'll download our data log. It sounded a little bit better. Had a little hiccup at the beginning. And I'll download this real quick and we'll have to break for lunch. So that at least made it up to 6,300. Which is about as much as he wants to turn it, so. Alright. Well, let's take a look here. I mean, that was at 820, so you can see it's out there good. I think we're going to keep on working on our tune-up here a little bit. And we'll be able to get this a little bit better. For sure. You can see so far, the screen line was our original. Now we're on our RPM and getting better. So all the way 820 all the way out here at at 6,300 or so. So not up to 7,000, but higher, more reasonable RPM. So, all right, let's break for lunch. We'll come back and we'll finish up the tunes. I think we're pretty good. We're getting better.
All right, we're sounding a lot better now. now that it's actually sounds good coming up and it's not lean sneezing and having issues with O2 anymore. Fixed the O2 issue. So we're at 667. Remember, this is a ultra low compression stock block 427 big block Chevy with not much cylinder head on it. So we're gonna keep putting a little bit more boost to it, try to get it to 1,000. On the wastegate, I would like to see maybe 700 depending on what the plugs look like, and then we'll just add a couple pounds of boost to get right to 1,000. All right, so it made 773 at 6477. Nice torque curve, good power curve. This is still on lower boost, so I did change the wastegate springs around. I talked to my dad, we're not gonna do a boost controller on. We're just gonna do one power level on the wastegates, make it 1,000 even. So I gotta look at the data log and see exactly how many pounds of boost it made. It probably only made 9 or 10 pounds of boost, so not very much increase. I just put the smallest spring that I got in there. So I'm gonna go look at the data, check things out.
All right, 875. So we're getting better and better here. Yeah, I have to change my study in RPM, but all right. And all right, so everything's better, looking good through there. All right, so we'll just keep on working on some tune-up stuff here. We saw one of the things that I saw that it didn't have was it didn't have an inductive delay in there. What's inductive delay, you may ask? What is that? Well, inductive delay, it had it set at 0. So I'm thinking, this thing's probably starting to get up there. You know, it's just pump gas, 93 octane fuel. It is intercooled, so I mean that's better. So it'll take a fair amount of timing anyways, but it's like, this thing's probably a little bit low. So the only thing that I changed right there from going from 820 to 875 is I added an inductive delay to it. So what the inductive delay is as things increase in engine RPM, electronics have a delay. And as the engine increases RPM, the delay doesn't ever change. It still is slow, so it has latent timing effects. So they're behind. So you put an inductive delay number in it because it makes it actually have the timing you're requesting it at higher RPM. So for example, if you ever check a distributor, old school MSD distributor setup, rev it up, which don't get all crazy, but you rev it up like 7,000 RPM just sitting there free with a timing light on it, it does not have the same amount of timing as it does when it's at like idle. So just a fact. So that's inductive delay. You can actually, some of the new boxes probably change that, but old school stuff wouldn't. So we're just gonna keep on working on some tune-up stuff here. We're gonna get there. I think we're gonna get a little bit better. I'm not sure we're gonna make 1,000. We'll make a little over 9, but I don't think we're gonna make it to 1,000. A lot of torque. Yeah, a lot of torque, which is what you normally have. Well, we're getting there. Now that was taking the air filters off. And so we'll see what kind of boost it picked up, if any. It didn't really pick up as much as I thought it was going to pick up, to tell you the truth. And I had leaned it up just a little bit too, so because the plugs are really, really fat. Well, that's pretty interesting. It made 0 pounds of boost more.
No more at all.
No more at all. Made 12.1 pounds of boost. I don't know, maybe 0.1 pounds of boost at most. Because it was like 11.9, 12.0, now it's 12.0, 12.1. So, which is pretty interesting. So I would say, I don't know. Usually I would have figured no air filter would have picked that up one. It is identical, so it's just the tune-up change that made a little more power. I mean, everything looks good. Yeah, the tune-up's pretty nice. So, I think it's still rich. I want to pull that plug out again. We'll look at that plug on camera here too. Alrighty, so our timing is starting to come around a little bit. Looks like it's still short, just a couple. And it just is not cleaning that porcelain up. I mean, it's still rich. That's a 10 plug. You probably need to put a 7 in it, but 7 would be helpful on the street. It doesn't need to have a 10 in it for that kind of boost range and everything. So it's a little too cold to plug. That would probably clean up the porcelain a little bit, but I still think that's rich. So I think I'm gonna lean it up a little bit more and put a couple of degrees more timing in it. I think we'll be at a pretty good spot. And then when you put a hotter plug in there, it'll clean that up some. That was plugs, and I put I put plugs in it, and didn't change the fuel, but I did add a degree of timing to it. But I want to pull that plug out now, so take a look at it, and it's that exact same 1 cylinder. Alrighty, so reading plugs still have black right there, so black soot. It still wants a little more timing, but it has cleaned up the porcelain some, but it is still rich. It's amazing. O2s aren't reading correctly, which is not the end of the world. It just, everything's just a reference number. There you go. So there's the last 3 pulls in a row. So that's the last 3 passes and pulls in a row. It made it right there, actually, 960. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I think we'll I'm gonna put 2 more degrees timing in, and I think we're gonna leave it there. So we'll see what that does.
Still just slowly getting there. We're making it happen. This is still way low on timing and plenty of fuel, so I'm sure we'll get to 1,000 here pretty shortly. Yep. All right, so I mean, for as little timing as it's still got in it, keep in mind this is like, I think 8 to 1 on compression, so super low compression. This is 11.5 pounds of boost. So the way I'm kind of figuring it is this is a low compression pump gas, small displacement big block Chevy. Very old school. This engine NA, maybe 500 horsepower, 480, 500 horsepower. So if we stack 1 atmosphere on that, 14 pounds, that should be 1,000. So we're at 11.5, 12 right now. I think we can get to 1,000 without having to change the wastegate springs. So we'll see. All right, so turns out that we got to put a little bit more boost to it. And hi, how's it going?
It's going good. What's going on over here? Now I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead.
So turns out that you do need to put a little bit more boost to it, and 12 pounds isn't quite going to cut it. I started putting more time into it, taking fuel away, and I know that it needs more boost because the gains are becoming more and more marginal. So the first time I threw a bunch more time in and less fuel at it, picked up 40 horsepower. The next pull picked up 20. Next pull picked up 5. It was like, okay, it's not going to make any more power at this boost level. So change the springs one more time, and hopefully now it should be at like 13, 14, and that I'm pretty sure we'll do it. So that looks like the wastegate versus, so this light spring versus the heavier spring.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yep. Yeah, so that would have been 8 pounds of boost versus
8 pounds of boost versus
11.5 pounds of boost.
Yeah, so our magic number is 6,500 because it's a
Jet boat.
It's a jet boat, so you can't ever spin this stuff faster than 6,500. Some jet boat thing.
Can't spin the pumps that
Can't
fast.
spin. Yeah, can't spin the
Start
jet boat.
cavitating.
Yep. So, and then, but they got to figure out what to do with the pumps in order to make them work right when they make more and more horsepower. So, it's a really small cubic inch big block. So it's really hard to get a compression ratio in them. So did you already talk about that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So stock block, stock crank, 427 big block Chevy, 30 over, so it's like a 430.
Yeah. So these things have like no compression ratio in them. Yeah, I mean it's well down into. You have to look at paperwork, but I'm sure it's 8 or under. But all right, well I'm going back over here.
So we're gonna let her rip and see what she do.
One more degree?
About 2. So, all right. So it's still just, I don't know. I think we'll just stop right there. I hate your magic number. We'll just keep it nice and safe. It's a street driver mainly, really not racing it, right? No. Cool. So that's pretty good. So that's all in tuning. Still making 12 pounds of boost. Let's look at the data log here real quick. The bright yellow line is boost right here, very flat. Yep, 11.8, 12.0, yeah, 11.9. It's just right there. So we'll just round it off, call it 12. Looks good. It's taking a little bit of fuel out. Timing is higher than you might think, but there was a slight question about the timing pointer. It's intercooled. It's not uncommon to have a bunch of timing, so I know somebody's probably read the timing, and now you're definitely going to read the timing, and you're going to back up and go, "Oh my gosh, you can't freaking do that!" Yeah, you can. But the air fuel ratio, I said, is reading wrong. Oh, I was going to say that is what. Numbers are just reference points, okay? So don't get hung up on numbers. If you ever have anybody that just tunes by numbers and numbers alone, that's not the best way of doing it, honestly. Tune for horsepower, tune for torque, get a peak, then you can back it off until it starts to roll over. O2 obviously is not in the right spot because that is not a correct O2 number. But I'm just using it for reference. I'm reading the spark plug, I'm reading horsepower, reading what it does. That's how you really need to tune things. So remember, anybody that just hunts for a number, oh, it's got to be this number. Well, no, don't. How many other 600 cubic inch engines with 78 millimeter turbos on pump gas do you tune? Not many, okay? Maybe you got absolute tons of experience on your typical LS twin turbo deal. That's cool. You probably got some numbers figured out. Definitely probably on timing and whatnot. Every engine's different. Placements are different. There's something going on with the O2s. I think their timing mark is probably off. I don't think it quite has that much timing in it. And we're still reading spark plugs. So I mean, the thing's good, safe, and happy. Made its 1,000 horsepower. I actually didn't think it was going to make it. I thought it was probably going to come in like 980, 990 on that last pull. So shoot, man, it's all good. That is a 300, almost 300, 200. Hold on, Kyle's over there dynoing. All right. That's almost 250-ish horsepower. No, yeah, 200.
Like 650, didn't it?
650, yeah. So, oh, that's 350. No, that's 250. Oh, to 350.
Yeah.
350 horsepower improvement. All right. So, tune up, man. Got to be on your tune up. So, anyways, I'm done. You guys can head back over to Kyle. We're just gonna take this thing off. Just had to work on the tip in, so I couldn't simulate that exact tip in on obviously just dead idle, whacking it. So that's always really hard to make something come up like that, especially a turbo car, to just whack it from dead idle and have it come up. So, but it sounds fine right now.
There, we're getting somewhere.
What did you do different?
Different wastegate spring.
Oh, this is with the wastegate spring.
Yeah, so stop the data log here. That's the other thing, guys. Everybody loves the Terminator X because it's very cheap and it works good. The data logging on it sucks, all right? It does not auto data log. I think, if I remember correctly, there are things you can do to try and auto data log it through the dash. But for what we're doing here, I have to manually stop and start the data log, which it's not too big a deal, but it just sucks when you make a pull and you forget to hit the data log button. That is the worst. But I did not forget to hit it here, so let's see what it is. It definitely obviously made more boost. And I did pull 2 degrees out of it just to be safe in case it made more boost than I wanted it to. Which it did. It made 16 pounds. So a little bit more boost, but more boost than what I was expecting. But yeah, we'll just keep creeping up on timing on this thing, and man, I'm sure, oh yeah, it's only got 25 degrees in it. So yeah, we'll turn the timing up, and I'm sure this thing will be over 1,000 horsepower on this spring. There we go. 1,023, that's what I'm talking about. I'll consider that a win any day of the week. All right, let's take a look at the data log here. So, final numbers. What are we at here? We're at, 15.7, creeping up to, we are 16 pounds of boost. The boost does creep out a little bit up here when it's, I mean, like we said before, this is going in a jet boat, so it's not going to be above 6,500 RPM, which is perfectly fine because if you look over there, it's over 1,000 at 6,500. So at 6,500, we are 15.8 pounds of boost. Round up, we'll call it 16 pounds. 33 degrees of timing, so it took a little bit more timing than what me and my dad thought it was going to take. But spark plugs are all looking really good. Our fuel numbers are looking good. This is non-intercooled too, in case you didn't notice, on pump gas, 93 octane. So low compression, small displacement big block, non-intercooled pump gas in a jet boat with twin, I think these are 72s. Yeah, twin 72s. So those are a Nelson Racing engines, mirror image turbo setup that we got from Tom over there. Turbos spool up really quick, like almost instantaneous boost really. I mean, you can see even in the data log, once I'm out here at wide open throttle, I mean, it's just instantaneous, and they sound cool. They whistle when it's idling. I like when turbo engines do that, makes that sound. But yeah, I'm gonna get the customer on the phone and see if he's happy, which I'm sure he will be, with those numbers. And then I think we're gonna start taking this thing off the dyno and we're all set. All right, let's talk about these plugs. So on this spark plug, this is a NGK 8 heat range spark plug. It's like a 57 or 5671-8 or whatever. Very common plug. We use these plugs all the time. But see our timing mark, still plenty conservative. We're just starting to come around the bend on the strap, which is totally fine. Our fuel, you can see on the porcelain, it's a little bit sooty, but keep in mind, these are the same plugs that I've been tuning on this thing from the start. So it's probably just got a little bit of soot on there that's not getting cleaned off when this thing is in the self-cleaning range. Which that's totally fine, whatever. I'm planning on leaving it a little bit more rich anyways, just because not intercooled, it's in a boat, it's gonna be beaten on. So right now, like our target air fuel is like 12.3, so pretty rich. I ran it as lean as 12.8, and the power difference between running it at like 12.8 and 12.3 is actually not as much as you might think it is. So we're just leaving it at 12.3, let it be a little bit rich. But I mean, the wastegate's open up and you guys can see in the video, it's not sooting so bad that it's pushing a bunch of black smoke out. But yeah, I mean, and normally when you run these things and they're running too rich, you'll be able to see it in the video. Like if you go back in some of our other videos where I'm tuning on gas stuff and I'm starting out a little bit more rich, it'll start to soot up in the room. This didn't really do that, so that's a good clue to know, like immediately without even looking at plugs or data log, like, oh yeah, fuel is probably where it needs to be. So yeah, this thing's looking really good. I'll put the spark plug back in there, and then we'll cut apart the oil filter and see what's up with that, and just do an overall health check on this thing and get it out to the customer so you can go enjoy the rest of the season.
All right, ready? Ready.
What?
All right, so the we're both done. I think Kyle's gonna finish up a little pulley thing on the mechanical fuel pump. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
this is supposed to have a mechanical fuel pump on it, but
we had the wrong pulley on it.
yeah, it wasn't spinning it fast enough. So I just put an electric pump on it to get it tuned. So now that the tuning is all done, we'll figure out their pulley setup to make adequate fuel pressure when it's idling, and then we'll be set.
Yeah, so it's the same regulator. Just need to we just had to speed up, or Kyle just had to speed up the pump so it maintained proper pressure idling. So anyways, this is all done. Now this isn't actually a typical day. Typically we can't get two things done ever on the same day, or per day, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's weeks like that.
Weeks where we don't get
Weeks where we don't.
There's weeks where we don't get anything single done. Yeah. So anyways, like, subscribe. Remember, you can go over to Kyle's channel, which is
My name, Kyle Morris.
Kyle Morris, and not the golfer kid.
Yeah.
You're a golfer kid?
Yeah, there's some other Kyle Morris out there. I'm trying to surpass him in subscribers so that if you type in Kyle Morris, I pop up first.
I thought he only had like 3,000 or something.
Oh, and I might have him beat.
I think you have him.
If you type in Kyle Morris, let me know if it's the first one that pops up.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah. So anyways, Kyle Morris.
Yep. Or if you want to use the @ sometimes it's easier to find it if you just type in @ the @ is @Motorsport Kyle.
@Motorsport Kyle.
That was easy.
So anyways, remember, like, subscribe, check your subscription, make sure you're getting your subscription. You should check the little notifications. I know you guys don't want notifications from everybody, but obviously you want them from me. I don't know, I'm just saying.
Or me. So like if you when you click that little notification thing, it's not like it's sending you messages all the time.
It doesn't send you a message. It just sends you a message one time when I send you a video, or when I send out a new video.
Yep, that's right.
That's it. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So if you hit it, you get notifications. You go, oh, hey, Steve's got a new video out. I missed this. Yeah, see? Oh, Kyle, he's got a video out. I'm gonna go see what Kyle's all about. You'll like him.
Yeah,
It's a different channel.
it is.
It's Kyle's channel. It's not mine. I have nothing to do with it. So there you go. Except I'm on it
I was gonna
most
say
of the
you've
time.
been in every single.
I'm in
video.
it all
You've
the
been
time.
in every video so far, yeah.
All right. So anyways, I'm Steve Morris.
Kyle Morris.
Have a great day.